Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Bo-chan.
I'm Nimacum.
I'm Van-chan.
In this class, I'll read all of you a part of Ulysses,
S.
L.
Ulysses, James Joyce, Chap, 1665. That was the rope. Also, without being actually positive, it struck him a great field was to be opened up in the line of opening up new routes to keep pace with the times apropos of the Fishyard Rossor route, which it was mooted was once more on the tapis in the circumlocution departments with the usual quantity of word tape and diddling of a feet for them and underheads generally. A great opportunity there certainly was for pushing enterprise to meet the travelling needs of the public at large. The average man, i.e. Boyne, Robinson and Company. It was a subject of regret and absurd as well on the face of it, and no small blame to our vaunted society that the men in the street, when the system really needed toning up, for the matter of a couple of paltry pounds was debarred from seeing more of the world they lived in, instead of being always and ever cooped up since my old stick in the mud took me for a wife. After all, and that they had their 11 and more humdrum of it and merited a radical change of venue after the grind of city life in the summertime for choice one dame. Nature is at her spectacular best, constituting nothing short of a new lease of life. There were equally excellent opportunities for vacationists in the home island, delightful sylvan spots for rejuvenation, offering a plethora of attractions as well as a bracing tonic for the system in and around Dublin and its picturesque environs, even Halifax, to which there was a steam tram, but also farther away from the madding Carden Wicklow, rightly termed the Garden of Ireland. Ideal neighbourhood for elderly women so long as it didn't come down. And in the wilds of Donegal, where if report spoke true, the Coop Drill was exceedingly grand, though the last named locality was not easily agitatable, so that the influx of visitors was not as yet all that it might be, considering the signal benefits to be derived from it, while Hoth with its historic associations and otherwise. Silken Thomas, Grace O'Malley, George Ivy, where Odinson several hundred feet above Silval was a favourite haunt with all sorts and conditions of men, especially in the spring when young men's fancy, though it had its own toll of deaths by falling off the cliffs by design or accidentally, usually by the way, on their left leg, it being only about 3/4 of an hour's run from the pillar. Because of course up-to-date tourist travelling was as yet merely in its infancy, so to speak, and the accommodation left much to be desired. Interesting to fathom, it seemed to him from a motive of curiosity, pure and simple, was whether it was the traffic that created the route or vice versa, or the two sides in fact. He turned back the other side of the card picture and passed it along to Stephen. I seen a Chinese one time, related the dowdy narrator, that had little pills like Pepsi, and he put them in the water and they opened, and every pill was something different. One was a ship, another was a house, another was a flower. Cooks rats in your soup. he obediently added. The Chinks does. Possibly perceiving an expression of dubiousity on their faces, the globetrotter went on, adhering to his adventures. And I seen a man killed in Joyce by an Italian chap. Knife in his back. Knife like that. While speaking, he produced a dangerous-looking cusp pipe quite in keeping with his character and held it in the striking position. In a knocking shop, it was count of a try-on between two smugglers. Philo hid behind a door. Come up behind him. Like that. Prepare to meet your God, says he. Chuck. It went into his back up to the butt. His heavy glance drowsily roaming about kind of defied their further questions, even should they by any chance want to. That's a good bit of steel, repeated he, examining his formidable stiletto. After which hurried an immense sufficient to pull the stats to sat the blade end. Stood the weapon in question away as before in his chamber of horrors, otherwise pocket. Thy great for the cold steel. Somebody who was evidently quite in the dark said for the benefit of them all. That was why they thought the bark murders of the Invincibles was done by foreigners, on account of them using knives. At this remark passed obviously in the spirit of where ignorance is bis Mr. B. and Stephen, each in his own particular way. Both instinctively exchanged meaning glances. In a religious silence of the strictly internalized variety, however, towards where Skin the Goat, alias the Keeper, not turning a hair, was drawing spurts of liquid from his boiler affair. His inscrutable face, which was really a work of art, a perfect study in itself, beggaring description, conveyed the impression that he didn't understand one jot of what was going on. Then, hurry. There ensued a somewhat lengthy pause. One man was reading in fits and starts sustained by Coffee Evening Journal. Another the card with the natives chose a day. Another the seaman's discharge. Mr. Bloom, so far as he was personally concerned, was just pondering in pensive mood. He vividly recollected when the occurrence alluded to place as well as yesterday, roughly some score of years previously in the days of the land troubles, when it took the civilized world by storm. Figuratively speaking, early in the 80s, I tend to be correct, when he was just turned 15. And, well, the sailor broke in. Give us back them papers. The request being complied with, he clawed them up with a scrape. Have you seen the Rock of Gibraltar? Mr. Bloom inquired. The sailor grimaced, chewing, in a way that might be read as yes, I or no. Oh, you've touched there too, Mr. Boone said. You're up a point. thinking he had, in the hope that the river might possibly buy some reminiscences, but he failed her. Do so, simply letting spurt a jet of spew into the sawdust, and shook his head with a sort of lazy scorn. What would that be about? Mr. B interrogated. Can you recall the boats? And tired of all them rocks in the sea, he said, and boats and ships. Such and all the time. Tired seemingly, he ceased. His questioner perceiving that he was not likely to get a great deal of change out of such a wily old customer, fell to gathering on the enormous dimensions of the water about the globe. Suffice it to say that, as a casual glance at the map revealed, it covered fully 3/4 of it, and he fully realised accordingly what it meant to rule the waves. On more than one occasion, a dozen at the lowest, near the North Pole at Delamount, he had remarked a superannuated old salt, evidently derelict, seated habitually near the not particularly redolent on the wall, staring quite obliviously at it and it at him, dreaming of fresh woods and pastures new as someone somewhere sings. And it left him wondering why. Possibly he had tried to find out the secret for himself, slandering up and down the antipodes and all that sort of thing, and over and under, well, not exactly under, tempting the fates. And the odds were 20 to know there was really no secret about it at all. Nevertheless, without going into the minutiae of the business, the eloquent fact remained that the sea was there in all its glory, and in the natural course of things somebody or other had to sail on it and fly. In the face of Providence, though, it merely went to show how people usually contrived to load that sort of earnest onto the other fellow like the hell idea, and the lottery and insurance, which were run on identically the same lines, so that, for that very reason, if no other, lifeboat Sunday was a highly laudable institution to which the public at large, no matter where living inland or seaside, as the case might be, having it brought home to them like that, should extend its gratitude also to the harbour misters and coast guard service who had to mend the rigging and push off and out amid the elements, whatever the season, when duty called Ireland expects that every man and so on, and sometimes had a terrible time of it in the wintertime, not forgetting the Irish lights, Kish and others, liable to capsize at any moment, rounding which he once with his daughter had experienced some remarkably choppy, not to say stormy, weather. There was a fellow sailed with me in the Rover, the old sea dog, himself a rover, proceeded, went ashore and took up a soft job as gentleman's valet at 6 quid a month. Them are his trousers I've on me, and he gave me an oilskin and that just knife. I'm game for that job, sheaving and brush up. I hate roaming about. There's my son now, Benny. We're off to sea, and his mother got him to Draper's in Cork, where he could be drawing easy money. What age is he? Queried one here who, by the way, seen from the side, bore a distant resemblance to Henry Campbell. The town corked, away from the carking cares of office. Unwashed, of course, and then a seedy jitip and a strong suspicion of nose paint about. The nasal appendage. Oil. The sailor answered with a slow puzzled utterance. My son. Danny? He'd be about 18 now. Way I figure it. The scabreen for the heap and tore open his grey or unclean anyhow shirt with his due. Hands then scratched away at his chest, on which was to be seen an image, tattooed in blue Chinese and intended to represent an anchor. There was lace in that, Bunkum Bridgewaiter, he remarked. Sure as nuts. I must get a wash tomorrow or next day. It's them back lads I objects to. I hate those buggers. Sick your blood dry. They does. Seeing they were all looking at his chest, he accommodatingly tried to shut more open, so that on top of the time-honoured symbol of the mariner's hope and rest they had a full view of the figure 16 and a young man's side of face looking frowningly. Other. That too. The exhibitor explained. That was done when we were lying becalmed off Odessa in the Black Sea under Captain Doughton. To be continued.